to another tutorial on CIP Inspirations. Today we are going to be making these jellyfish. I'm calling these candy jellies because of the colors that I'm using. So for today's project you will need a medium weight yarn. I am using Yarn Bee Stitch 101 50/50. I am using colors Sage, Candy, Ivory, and Mint. And then if you want to make the starfish, you'll need some gold. Okay, and the hook that I'm using is a 3.5 millimeter or E hook. You will also need 2 safety eyes, and these are 12 millimeter. You will need some fiber film, a yarn needle, and a stitch marker to keep track of your rows. Alright, let's get started. Okay, for this jellyfish I'm going to be using green for the main body color of this one. So you're going to grab your hook, and the first thing we're going to do is make a magic ring. And we're going to put 6 single crochet in our magic ring. So just single crochet around both of those threads. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you have your 6 single crochet, you're just going to pull that string and close your circle. Now we'll be working in the round, so we will not be slip stitching at the end of each round. Alright, for round 2, we are going to increase in each stitch around. So we'll put 2 single crochet in each stitch that you just made. So in this first stitch, we'll put 1 single crochet and then 2. Then we'll move to the next stitch and we'll put 1 and then 2. And this is increasing in each stitch. At the end of round 2, you will have 12 single crochets. Alright, and that will look like that. So at this point, I go ahead and grab my stitch marker. Alright, for round 3, we are going to single crochet in the first stitch and then increase in the next stitch. And we will repeat that all the way around. So 1 single crochet in the first stitch, increase in the next stitch. 1 single crochet, increase. You'll keep going all the way around to the end of round 3. And at the end of round 3, you will have 18 single crochets. Okay, that's the end of round 3. So in round 4, we are going to do 2 single crochets and then increase in the third stitch. Grab my stitch marker. Alright, so single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet in the second stitch, increase in the third. So 1, 2, increase. And at this point I will meet you at the end of round 4, where you will have 24 single crochets. Okay, we are now on round 5, and we are going to continue this pattern, and we're going to do 3 single crochets and then increase in the fourth stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and then increase in the 4th. 1, 2, 3, increase in the 4th. And I will meet you at the end of round 5, where we will have 30 single crochets. All right, for round 6, we are going to do 4 single crochet, increase in the 5th. So just continuing that pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. Okay, at the end of round 6, you will have 36 stitches completed, and I will meet you at the end of this round. All right, on to round 7. So now we are going to single crochet 5, increase in the 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase in that 6th. Just repeat that around until the end of round 7, and you have 42 single crochet, and I will meet you at the end of this round. All right, and round 8 is going to be our last increase round. So for this one, we'll do 6 single crochet, increase in that 7th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, increase in the 7th stitch. And you know the drill, keep doing that pattern around until you have a total of 48 single crochet, and I will meet you at the end of round 8. All right, we have now finished our increasing rounds. So for the next 8 rounds, or that would be rounds 9 through 16, we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. There's no increasing in these rounds. We're now making kind of the sides of the body by doing this, and it'll start to get a bowl shape as you add more rounds. So 1 single crochet each stitch around, and you will do this for a total of 8 rounds, rounds 9 through 16. And go ahead and pause the video here, and once you get to the end of round 16, we will start our decrease rounds. So I will see you at the end of your 8 total rounds of single crochet. Okay, so we are at the end of round 16, and your jellyfish should look like this with this, hat bowl shape. So we are going to do the next 3 rounds will be decrease rounds. So we're going to make it look kind of tapered at the bottom here. So for round 17, we are going to do 6 single crochet, and then we're going to decrease over the next 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now over these next 2, we're going to decrease. So you're going to insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, and then insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops, and that makes 2 stitches into 1. So again, you're going to do 6 single crochet and then decrease over the next 2. Like that. All right, and I will meet you at the end of round 17, and you will have a total of 42 single crochets. Okay, and now for round 18, we are going to single crochet across the first 5, decrease over the next 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you're going to make a decrease. So just keep continuing that pattern until the end of round 18, and you will have 36 stitches at the end of this round. And I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so for round 19, this will be our last decrease round. So we will do 4 single crochet and then decrease over those next 2. And just continue that around. So 4 decrease, or I'm sorry, 4 single crochet and then decrease over the next 2. And at the end of round 19, you will have 30 single crochet. All right, we've now finished our decrease round, so your jellyfish should look like this at this point. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make these shell borders at the bottom. So we'll start with the same color we're already using, but then we're going to switch to a second color for our last round of the body of our jellyfish. I will be using the candy pink for mine, but you pick just another contrasting color that will go with what color you've chosen. So we're going to repeat a pretty simple pattern around to make our first row of shells. So for this round, you're going to be working in the front loop only. So if you look at your stitches, there's this front loop and then there's this back one. We're only going to be working in the front loop because in the next round, we'll be working in the back loop, so that has to be open. Okay, so the pattern is going to be single crochet, again working just that front loop, not single crochet, this is a slip stitch in that front stitch. So a slip stitch in the second stitch in the front loop only, we're going to be making 3 single crochets, and that makes our little shell or scallop looking edge. So again, you're going to slip stitch in the first, 3 single crochet in the next. And you'll just repeat that pattern all the way around to the end of round 20. Again, working only in that front loop. All right, and I will meet you at the end of this round. Okay, at this point, you should have this shell border. So we're going to do one more round with the color that you're already using. So for this round, we're going to work in that back loop of round 19. So we worked in the front loop for this shell round, and in the back loop, we're going to just single crochet in each stitch around. So you might have to push the shells forward a bit to get back there. But then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And this is round 21, and you'll have 30 single crochet at the end of this round. And I will meet you back and we will do our last round of shells, and you'll have to pick your second color for that. And I will see you there. Okay, so we're at the end of round 21 with our single crochets in that back loop only. We're going to go ahead and change colors, and I'll show you an easy way to do that. So I have not done the last stitch of round 21. So when you do that, go ahead and stick your yarn or your hook through that loop. Pull a loop up so you have 2 on there, but don't do anything else with that. Go ahead and cut your yarn. You're going to grab your second color, and then you'll go ahead and pull that through. So it still makes that last stitch green, but now you're ready to change to your second color. Okay, so that's the end of round 21. And for our last round, round 22, we are again going to work in the front loop only, and we're going to repeat round 20. So right here in this first stitch, you're going to go through the front loop only, and you'll have to hold that new color string to keep it tight. We're going to slip stitch, and then in the second stitch, we're going to make 3 single crochet, all in the front loop only. So slip stitch in the first, and then 3 single crochet in the second. And then you'll just repeat that around just like we did in our first shell round. And at the end of this round, you should have 15 shells made. And I will meet you at the end and show you how to finish this off. Okay, you should have made your last shell, so we're just going to slip stitch to that first slip stitch that we made to finish off our pink. And go ahead and cut your yarn. And we're just going to weave this last one in. Your other tails you can just kind of stuff in there. You don't have to weave those in unless you really want to. Alright, so grab your yarn needle and let's get that weaved in and finished off. Then we'll put our eyes in. Alright, so snip that off. So this is what you should have at this point. Now we're going to go ahead and put our eyes in. So I count 4 rows up after the shells. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then put it between the 4th and 5th rows there. So put your one eye in, and then I count 4 over, and then put it in that next hole after those 4. So you have a good even space in between the eyes. Go ahead and stick your backs on. And then we can also go ahead and stuff it at this point before we make our base. So grab your fiber fill and get it filled in and stuffed firmly. Make sure you get a good rounded shape as you do this. Just kind of shape it with your hand as you go. Make sure you got the shape that you want. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our base. And you're going to want to use the same color you used for your body. And it'll be this part here where we'll be sewing the tentacles to after we make those. So we're going to start with our color that we need for the main body color. And we're going to actually just be repeating rounds 1 through 5 of the body. So you're going to start with a magic ring and then put 6 single crochet in that magic ring. And then close that when you have your 6 made. And then for round 2, you're going to be increasing in each stitch around. So at the end of round 2, you'll have 12 single crochet. Alright, for round 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, increase in the second, and you just repeat that around. So 1 and then increase. Alright, so the end of round 3, you should have 18 single crochets. Alright, we have 2 rounds left. So for round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochet and then increase. So 1, 2, increase. Okay, and that is the end of round 4, and we have 24 stitches, so we got one more round to do. So for round 5, we're going to do 3 single crochet and then increase. So 1, 2, 3, increase, and you'll just repeat that around. And I will meet you back at the end of this round, and we will sew the base onto our jellyfish. Okay, so we are at the end of round 5. We're going to finish it off by making a slip stitch in the next stitch, and then we're going to cut a long tail so we can sew around it. Okay, and pull that through your loop. All right, so grab your yarn needle. Okay, so let's grab your jellyfish. Now I know the opening looks a lot bigger than what we just made, but it is the same amount of stitches around. It just looks that way because we've stuffed this. So I always start my sewing around at the back of my piece. Just, I don't know, I just feel like it looks better. So go ahead and grab a stitch and then go through. Now we're using the back loops of that last round we just made. So that's why we worked in the front loop of that one, so we can use these back loops to help sew this piece on. And you're just going to sew around in each stitch until it is completely closed. You can add more fiber fill if you need to towards the end, if you feel like you can add more to it. And then we will finish that off. So I will meet you back here once you have completely sewn around your piece. Okay, so we have completely sewn around our base, and that's nice and flat. So we're going to weave this in a couple times, cut that off, and then we will start with our tentacles, and we'll start with our curly tentacles. And for those, you want to use the same color as your main color. So I'll be using green for the curly tentacles, and those will be sewn in the center of our base. Alright, so we can set that aside for now. Grab your hook, and I'll show you one, but you're going to make 3 of them. Okay, so go ahead and make your slip knot. And then you're going to chain 36. Okay, once you have your 36 chain, we're going to work in the second chain from our loop, and I just work in the back loop only on these, and you're going to make 3 single crochet, and then you're going to do that in every chain across, and this will start to shape into a curly Q for you for your center tentacles. So 3 single crochet in each stitch across. Alright, and you can already see it starting to curve. like this. Okay, so go ahead and do that all the way across. I'll meet you at the end and I will show you how to sew these onto the base of your jellyfish. So don't forget 3 single crochet in every chain across, and that will give you a total of 105 single crochet at the end. Alright, I will meet you at the end. Okay, once you have your tentacle done, and again, you're going to make 3 of this color, I'll show you how to sew this on, and then we're going to make our straight tentacles. Okay, so this short tail from the beginning, we're going to go ahead and just weave that in and get that out of the way. So go ahead and weave that through and then cut that off. And then I will show you how I sew these on to the base. So for the curly ones, like I said before, and I'll show you on this one, I stick to the middle of the jellyfish. Since you're making 3, kind of 1 in the front, 2 kind of in the back, make a kind of a triangle, I guess, to sew those on. So go ahead and grab your tentacle, and I just go ahead and kind of place it where you want it. I'll put this one in the front. Grab a loop of your base, and then into the very tip of the end of that, I go ahead and make a stitch, and then along the edge of that, I'd make another one. Then I just go ahead and weave that through a couple times to finish it off. And that's it. So you'll want to make 2 more of those and get those sewn on. And then now we're going to go ahead and make these straight tentacles. And for the straight ones, you're going to want to make 4. Okay, so I've already made 2 white ones. My next color is going to be the mint blue, and I'll make 2 of those. So you're going to want 4 of them, 2 in one color and 2 in the other. Okay, and I've picked colors that I haven't done on my jellyfish yet, so it's kind of got a good contrast for colors. Alright, so this one's super simple, so make your slip stitch, or slip knot, and then you're going to chain 21. Okay, so once you have your 21 done, you're going to slip stitch in the second chain from the hook. So just 1 slip stitch. Kind of makes a point at the end of these if you do a slip stitch in that first one. So, and the rest across, we're just going to do single crochet all the way across. Okay, and that is the end of one of our straight tentacles. So we're going to cut long tail again, and same as the curly ones, we'll get this shorter tail out of the way. And again, you're going to make 4 of this style in 2 different colors, unless you like just doing the one color, and that would look good too. So let's cut that off. And I will show you where I place the straight tentacles. Alright, so on these I just kind of stick to the outside. So I'll do one color here, I'll put the blue here, and then I'll put a white down here, and then a blue and a white. So you're alternating colors around. So I just go ahead and do the same thing I did with the curly one. And make 2 stitches into it. And then we'll weave that in so it's good and secure. Okay, and then we'll cut that. Alright, so that's what that will look like. So again, you're going to make 3 curlies and 4 straights in 2 different colors. So once you have that finished, go ahead and sew those on. After you have that complete, we're going to make a starfish in our gold or whatever color you choose, and then I'll show you how to make a bow and add that. So you could add whichever you want, or even both would be cute. So we'll be doing that next. Okay, in this part of the video, we're going to go ahead and make the star. So the first thing you're going to want to do is grab your gold yarn, and we're going to make a magic ring. And in this magic ring, we're going to make 10 single crochet. Okay, so we have our 10 single crochet made. So the next thing you're going to do is pull this small string here and make sure your circle comes out flat. Now with having so many single crochets in this ring, you're going to have to pull pretty tight to get it to close. And you might have to keep pulling throughout to get it closed. And it may not close all the way, but we can fix that at the end. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is slip stitch in that very first single crochet that you made. So we connected our circle. Alright, so to make the star points, you'll start with the slip stitch. You're going to chain 1. In the same stitch as the slip stitch, you're going to make a double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to slip stitch in the very top of that double crochet that we just made. So that front loop right there, you're going to make a slip stitch, and then the last thing we'll do is a half double crochet in that same stitch again. Okay, and that makes 1 point of our star. So the next thing you're going to do is make 2 slip stitches over the next 2 stitches. Okay, so slip stitch, slip stitch. Now we're going to make our next point. So chain 1, double crochet, chain 2, slip stitch into the top of the double crochet, and then half double crochet. And then you're going to slip stitch over the next 2. Okay, so we have 2 points made. So now we're going to chain 1 again, double crochet, chain 2, slip stitch into the top of the double crochet, and then make a half double crochet. Then slip stitch over the next 2. And you're going to do that 2 more times. Okay, at the end of our star, go ahead and slip stitch in that first slip stitch that we made, and then we will go ahead and finish it off. Pull your hole closed if you need to again. It depends on the yarn too. Some yarn likes to slip a little bit more, some yarn holds better. So, alright, cut a long tail and then slip that through there, finish that off. Alright, and we've made our star. And in a minute I'll show you how to sew that on, but let's go ahead and make our bow real quick. And I am going to make a pink bow. Okay, so go ahead and make your starting slip knot. And we're going to chain 7. Okay, starting in the second chain from the loop, we're going to single crochet across our chain. So at the end of the row, you will have 6 single crochets. Okay, and then at the end of row 1, you're going to chain 1, and then you'll turn your work, and we're going to single crochet back across for row 2. So each row will have a total of 6 single crochets. Chain 1 at the end of each row, and then turn your work. And you're going to do this until you have 4 rows of 6 single crochets. Okay, now that we have our 4 rows made, we're going to go ahead and finish it off. You don't need to cut a long tail for this. We're just going to weave both of these ends in. So let's grab our yarn needle. Get those both weaved in. Then when we're done with that, we will use our yarn again to wrap around the middle to make the center part of our bow. Okay, so you should have a nice little rectangle there. Now we're going to grab our yarn, pull out a little bit of the length of it. My yarn's all tangled. Okay, so you're gonna, start mine by holding it at the back of the bow in the center. Hold on to it and start wrapping tightly so it cinches the middle down to make our bow form. Go around several times. When you have it enough that you are satisfied with, go ahead and cut with a long tail. Okay, and then grab your yarn needle. We're going to weave the needle through the back just to secure that, that thread there so it doesn't unravel on us. All right, and now we are ready to sew it to our jellyfish. And I think I'll put this one kind of right here in this position. So just grab some of your yarn off the body and then weave it behind the center part of the bow in the back of it. Do that a couple times back and forth. And then I weave through the back part of the side of the bow like that, and then cut your yarn. And there you go. We have our jellyfish with our bow on. And now real quick, I will show you how to sew on the star. So because this yarn slips a lot, I'm going to go ahead and weave in the smaller back string here so I can just get it more secure so it does not come undone, because we don't want that. Okay, pull that tight. All right, and we can get this sewn on to our jellyfish. So I'm going to sew it onto this one. Maybe I'll do this side since I did the other side on the pink one. And you're just going to sew around around the edges of your starfish, making sure that you go along the sides, and then make sure you go into the points of the stars so that they stay flat. Okay, and then go up the other side. Tentacles getting in the way. And just keep going around until you get all the way back to the beginning. All right, when you get all the way around, you're just going to want to weave that in like so, and then go ahead and cut your yarn, and we are finished. So we've got all these different colors here. I have really enjoyed making these, and I hope you did too, and you can make as many as you want in different colors. They make great gifts, even cute baby gifts or baby shower decorations. You can do a lot with these. So if you enjoyed making this pattern with me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, the like button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you can get notified of future videos. And I will see you next time. Bye.